Blair.
Here.
Broughton.
Here.
Palma.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Thurman.
Here.
Unruh.
Here.
Rumble.
Here. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Bob. Hey,
I'll second.
thank you, Kathy. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. That brings us to our public hearing. I need somebody to make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make the motion to open the public hearing.
I'll support.
Thank you, Roz and Dana. All right. We need to vote on that, please. Can we get a roll call?
DePalma.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Broughton.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, is anybody here to discuss the 2022 budget? Okay, can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Broughton.
Yes.
Palma.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. That brings us to our Envision payroll presentation. Greg? Assuming you're Greg?
Yep, I'm Greg. How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good, thanks for having me tonight, appreciate it. I got a little proposal on the calendar. I just had it, but-
Is it the same as?
No, that's gonna be addition to that.
I'll share.
Okay.
Do you
The
need one?
presentation.
Packet for notes?
So, thanks again for having me. I work with PHP, Pfefferhead from Polka, and they do your audit, I believe. And I've done a lot of work with those folks for 30 years. And I do the payroll for quite a few townships that they work with too. So very familiar with how townships work. Used to work for Paychex way back in the day, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And that's your current provider right now. And I did a presentation for Rosalind and Lisa a couple weeks ago, I guess it was now. And they liked the software that we use. In addition to that, the payroll reports are a little bit better. So, Scott, we and I were talking, they do a labor distribution report, which could save you guys a lot of time
Right.
on that, so. I don't have, oh, sorry, go
No,
ahead.
finish.
No, I'm pretty much done, so.
Okay, I have some questions. I know a lot about payroll, so my questions are, I've worked with the different payroll companies, and I've seen the different programs. And one company I know of, when things are done, it's actually my responsibility for this company, I have to put in like the W-4 forms and all that information and make sure that withholding is correct and all that stuff is, and then I know there's companies like the way paychecks work is where you just hand them the W-4 forms and they put it in and they make sure everything's correct. Which route are you guys?
We have both.
Okay.
You can distribute the W-4 out to your employees, or you could use what's called onboarding, where you send them an email, they fill it out and send it back to us.
Well, what I'm kind of getting at is like when I go to put in the payroll for this company, I have to make sure that the withholdings, like, you know, if I don't put it in right, then it might not be calculating
Oh,
it
okay,
right.
yeah, I see. what
Especially
you're-
with the new forms, because it's not just married to
Yeah.
or single one, it's,
Yeah, we
you know,
prefer-
check the box and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, we prefer people send it to us, and we
You
put
guys
it
just
in.
make sure
Yeah.
everybody's withholdings are correct.
Yeah, because you're right, there's a new W-4 that just came out, it's a 2021, I don't know if your employees are using the new one, but I would recommend that they switch to it, because it's a different, more accurate tax table for their payroll. But you could still use the old one, but the new one's
That
the
was
better deal.
Going to be my next question if we switch companies, do we have to provide new W-4s? Because if you fill out a new one, you're forced to go to the 2020.
Yeah, you don't have to fill out, what we do is, if you decided to come on board with us, we take all the information that was in Paychex
Okay.
and just extract it out, so, no, you don't have to use a new one.
Okay.
So, what I would recommend is that,
I'm not in favor of the new one.
you're not, I don't.
I'm a CPA, so I do taxes and
Oh,
stuff like that,
okay.
and I don't think it always calculates the right amount.
It's a lot less taxes, so people end up owing money. And so what I always tell people is, hey, if you think you're gonna owe, you can add additional amount to it and put it on there, but
Okay.
you're right, it's a little bit different, the new one, so. But we help out in all those
Okay,
aspects
so
of.
you would put it in, people, and is that the program we were signing up for where they basically do everything and it's not? I mean, we might put in hours and stuff, but we're not gonna be responsible to making sure withholdings are correct and stuff. Okay.
No, I showed Lisa the demo. I showed her where she could put it in if she wanted to, but I told her just send it to us and we'll do it, so.
Okay. I just wanted to see which way it was gonna work.
Yeah, and there's some reports that she's not currently getting that she would like. That's a labor distribution report that does totals for each department. And it's taken, I think, Scott, you mentioned, it takes like 20 more extra minutes every time just to go through it to
Well,
get
yeah,
the
it's just
totals.
a number of pages. They're reporting, and I don't mind saying it's paychecks, and they're a big company, and they should be providing better support, and they are not.
Yep.
And Lisa's tried calling them to say, hey, how can we modify this report to make it work for us? And no response or little response.
They're not easy to work with. They don't
Yeah.
work well with
They
us.
have
So-
currently switched to what's called a
And-
ticket program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and based on the fact that Ken has recommended you, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I've known Ken in the CPA firm for 30 years. I've been in the payroll business for 30 years. Do a lot of townships, which I sent over to Lisa that they could call for references to. And a lot of them are either with Paychecks or ADP, and we're very unhappy, so. It's
No,
a-
I trust Ken. I just want to make sure it wasn't going to be our responsibility, because I feel if you don't understand that side of it, it
Yeah.
should be our responsibility to make sure withholding is correct. We
Right.
should just give you the W-4 and you guys do it all.
Yep, for sure. And I get all my business from CPAs like PHP and like yourself that they're not happy with the Paychecks and the ADPs of the world for service issues and things like that, so.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions in regards to the proposal at all?
I just have one question. And I see the dates are different on these two.
Yep.
Am I supposed to ignore one of these? 'Cause-
Yeah, the blue one, the one that's in color is the one to use.
Okay.
The only difference is the $5 base fee, because when I was talking with Lisa and Rosalind, there's multiple payrolls you have in a month, and I was trying to figure that out, because if you do like 3 or 4 in a month instead of just 2, I was cutting you a $5
Okay,
dollar
I see there's
break.
a $5 difference.
That's a $5 break.
Right.
But then talking to her later on, she told me that lots of times those payrolls fall in the same biweekly payroll. So then there's only 2 in a month. So that's why there's a difference. So.
Thanks.
And I was going to go over it with her, but she's not working today at all.
So people understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but our paid on call, we only pay it once a month versus every 2 weeks, and so that's what he's talking about. That's why sometimes they fall off on different, is that correct, Dave? Yeah.
And I believe the firefighters, it's every 28 days. So they could fall on a out of date or a new sequence of check dates, I believe.
Yeah, it falls on every
They
other
could,
pay
right.
period.
Yep, and we're very familiar with, we're familiar with how the firefighters work with the overtime rules and things like that, too.
Wait, what
that-
did you say firefighters work?
How they, yeah, how they work. You're up next. Yeah, so we're very familiar with townships. We do them, a lot of the people I work with worked at Paychecks, but I work with Ken Polka. Ken Polka's the greatest. 30 years I've known the guy, and we'd love to have you as a client. And, I don't know if there's any other questions, but it's not much of a spiel, really.
Okay, thank you.
All set?
so much,
All right,
Greg.
thanks a lot, appreciate it.
All right, that brings us into the reports. So we have our treasurer report, our general ledger report, the designated report, reconciliation report, our building department report, and through current, we did have 15 new houses this year. We do have a Parks and Rec, no?
Yep, that's okay.
Oh, mine's out of order, sorry. Well, no, I don't see it. I don't have it, but Fred, you're here, so you want to make your report? Not in my packet.
One thing I really want to add to the report, other than answer any questions, is that take this opportunity to thank the Township for every department had someone show up to help build the float, and it turned out to be quite the float. Thanks to Scott with his genius idea to come up how to fasten down the tree to the trailer using scrap metal out of the garage down there, the DPW garage, which the I thank them also, the Village of Ortonville, for letting us use their facility. It was heated. It worked out really good. We had some children down there as well. So that was fun. It's been a while since I seen the township get involved with something like that, and it was a pleasure to work with everybody. And then movie night, Friday night, we took the float down to the town hall, the old town hall. It was a float that lit up at nighttime. They had the tree lighting, and I drove by, and everybody's like, oh. I parked it down there for the movie night and played Christmas music, and it turned out okay. As far as movie night, we had about 20 families, and we showed the movie Noel 2, Santa Pups, and it went really well. And the day of the parade, things went well as expected with the nice weather, good crowd. Again, township employees, somebody from every department in here walked with and trustees and elected officials as well, walked the parade, and it was very pleasing. And then we unhooked Jason. We used Supervisor Jason's truck. We unhooked it, rehooked, took it back down to the town hall, and we had Christmas music with the township float throughout the whole day until the events were over. And then I tore it down today in the wind, bulbs flying everywhere. So, and again, I just wanted to thank everybody that got involved this year.
While you're standing there, you did a good job too, organizing the whole thing.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I had plenty of help. This year, the DDA stepped up, and they solicited for some parade participants. And then, Randy Wise Ford, Joe Green was our grand marshal. He called me. He caught COVID, and then he wanted to honor the 4 that we lost over in Oxford, and that's why that sign was on their car, honoring them as the grand marshal as well. You got any questions? Venus was going to do my report tonight, and I had something already planned for tonight, but it got canceled, so I decided to come in. But Venus is doing a very good job for us in the parks as a part-time. And we'll be talking to the park subcommittee next year to possibly make her part-time eligible. But that's down the road. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Fred. And Faye, you're here. Do you want to give your report for the senior center?
Actually, it's kind of like a 2-month report because I couldn't make it last time because I got exposed at the conference, so it's not good. So when I went to the conference, which is from MASC, which is Michigan Association of Senior Centers, the first day had the most information, and there's a dementia training. It's offered through the Area Agency on Aging. The sessions are free, and then they call someone that can teach it or just be in charge of the sessions. They call them a dementia champion. And that education and training is free. So in January, I'm going to pursue it. I didn't figure it was good during the holidays because everybody was going to be booked. So I'm going to have them come in, but they're going to be more towards the evening, the classes, because it's the younger people that need these trainings so that they can deal with their families and parents and stuff, to learn how to communicate with one with dementia. So, and it's all free, so it'd be silly to not. We had someone offer that they were going to do it. It was called something different, but they were going to charge us. So then when I found out about this, I'm like, So we've had kind of a slowdown at the senior center right now with the numbers going up. We've had a few people that have decided that they're staying home until after the end of the year. So we're doing something different. Regular bingo on Wednesdays, not regular bingo. We're just playing penny bingo. So they play with pennies, and when somebody bingos, then they get the pennies from everybody's cards. So, but at least it still gets a few people out. So, and it still keeps us open, so. And I will be pursuing, hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, next November, when I go to Mass Conference, I'm hoping to be certified through the state of Michigan and the Michigan Association of Senior Centers as the programmer and as a senior center director. So, and that requires classes, so many classes every year, which are no charge. So all kinds of seminars are given, and you just get your credits. So
Thank you, Faye.
thank you.
Yep.
Can I ask-
Glad to see you taking
Yeah.
all that training.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you.
that-
for-
oh,
Oh,
sorry.
I just asked if I could ask her a question. Are we allowed to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you make sure you let us know when that dementia training is?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I will definitely.
Not to do a Monday night when we have a meeting.
Oh, no. It definitely would not be a Monday night on the meetings.
And thank you for everything.
You're
That's all.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Faye.
Yep.
All right, that brings us to the CDBG report, and that is in there. Do you have anything you want to say on
Yes,
that?
I do. So in your packet is the Oakland County Community and Home Improvement Division report. They give this monthly, and our spending performance for Brandon Township is .61, so that is good. They like you to be under a certain number, and we're probably the lowest we've been in a long time, so that's exciting. And as far as the project at the Edna Burton Senior Center for the door replacement, it has been complete. I'm just waiting on the correct documentation and certified payroll so I can submit for reimbursement, and that'll be complete. That's all.
All right, thank you, Rosalind. That brings us to the trustees. We'll start down there, Kathy.
Okay. Kind of a long report today. My prayers and thoughts have been with the families, faculty, administration, maintenance crew, friends, and first responders of the Oxford School District as they recover from the terrible shooting incident that took place last Tuesday. Oxford is strong. And it won't be easy, but I'm confident they will get through this. Thank you to all who worked on the Christmas in the Village to make it a great success. Thank you to Fred for organizing the parade, and thank you to the township employees who helped build the township float and participate in the parade. I think it was the best township float I can remember, so it was really nice. And the music was certainly a plus. And I wanted to read a couple things. They're short. One is from our policy code of ethics, and it says board members will become informed concerning issues to be discussed by reading the packet, developing points of view, and formulating relevant questions. Board members should attempt to resolve conflicts or ask questions in advance of meetings whenever possible. So I tend to do that, and I know that I send emails to everybody, so just don't feel like I'm picking on you, because especially Rosalind, like every month I'm sending her typos or something with the minutes. We had a really good typo. It was Lieutenant Glove instead of Lieutenant Glover in the minutes. And it was probably just auto. It was probably just auto. Probably auto correction. That did that, but I don't know. So I just send stuff to get things cleared up. And then in the MTA book, it says trustees should be given an opportunity to investigate and study important decisions before voting. They should insist upon the opportunity if it has not been afforded them, unless they feel qualified to make decisions without such study and investigation. Oh, and I did want to say, if you don't want me to contact you prior to the meeting, just let me know and I won't. if that's an issue, but I just thought it would help things along if I do it ahead of time. So anyways, I wanted to go into last month. There were 2 items that were added to the agenda that were kind of directed at me, and then I didn't have the opportunity to investigate and study. So at this time, I would like to say a couple things about one of them. And the one is the board approved a motion for any and all requests made of the township attorney for legal advice and/or opinions must be authorized by the board or come from the supervisor's office. And I think it was directed at me because I have a habit of contacting Stuart as being past supervisor. It's just I'm used to doing, and I need to change that. And I'm still learning to be a trustee, and I'm good with going through the supervisor. So I don't have a problem following this motion, but my concern is that in the past, and even prior to me being supervisor, the treasurer, clerk, and I think even the fire chief has been able to contact the township attorney directly. And just to say, our attorney is not that expensive, and many other townships have the township attorney attend their meetings, their regular meetings. But I just wanted to suggest that if it hasn't been done already, maybe the supervisor, clerk, treasurer, and even fire chief should review that and make sure that they're all good with going through the supervisor's office or the township board before contacting the attorney. That's the only point I wanted to make on that. And I just wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Scott? Sorry, Steve. Looking right at you, called you Scott.
All right. I've been called worst. Other than like Lieutenant Glove, I've been
going
called
around
worst.
today.
Not so much.
Glove is nothing. Of course, my thoughts and prayers go out to, Oxford community, and we are very much part of the Oxford community. So it's really us too. I'm not trying to drag away from that at all. My mother said she was really, there's 2 incidents in her life that she remembers. JFK was assassinated. She knew exactly where she was at. I know exactly where she was at when 9/11 hit. She never felt helpless when she was up there and a tornado went down every other house on her street and blew up every other one. That day, I got 2 daughters. I'm texting them. And that was the most helpless I've ever felt. I saw Lieutenant Glover and Meyer, and you were the biggest comfort because I know you are, and I've been on this side of the law enforcement. It's tough. Thank you. I also saw deputies. I was having a great day. I know this was what we want to talk about, but, there's more victims than what they are, and I'm not taking away the ones that were hurt. We got some living victims going on here. And I will tell you that I saw a deputy car going, and he was white-knuckling it there, and I even came out from where I was having lunch because it was around that time. I thought, man, that guy isn't going to make the corner. I even go in the window, and I think, God, he's going so fast. Because I know how fast he can go. I'm like, he ain't going to make it. He makes it. I'm like, rookie. And I laugh. Now here comes car number 2. Okay, what's going on? Then the phone blew up. And I'm telling you, you're sitting there going, ain't nothing I can do about it. The most helpless feeling you've ever had. And you go up there, you saw upset mothers and angry fathers, and all I can say is now we got jackals coming in here trying to keep the community down. I just hope we all pray to get together. I know the sheriff's department here is going to do well, and everybody else. I don't know where else going with this, but just leaders that we even got right out here, right here, Parks and Rec, senior citizens. We got Hubble here. I know if I would have saw him here, he would have made me smile too, because I know he's one of the tough ones out there. Thank you.
I was in high school.
I know you were. I know you were probably somewhere, but I wasn't, anyway. So pray for them, everybody else. I don't know what committees I had on this month, so I forget, but sorry. So thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Bob, do you have anything?
Fred, I know you're just one of a bunch of faces that put that Christmas parade together, but it was great. And I I saw a bigger turnout, I think, of residents than I've ever seen at a Christmas parade before. We came around the corner. In fact, I took a picture of it. And it was like the entire street was filled up. And it was so cool to see. We live in a very cool community. And I know the tendency is for all of us to stay home, watch TV, go to bed, get up next morning, repeat, rinse, wash. Get out and mingle with your community. We have a very cool community here, a lot of neat people, and it's definitely worth the time to put in and meet people. That's it.
Thank you, Bob. Dina?
First, I'll get the easy stuff out of the way. None of my committees met this month, so I got nothing to report there. Thank you to Fred and everybody who did Christmas in the Village. My son and I had a great time walking, and so did our exchange student. And then my husband and daughter had a great time watching. I think it was much needed, even under the circumstances. I know I enjoyed seeing people and being able to have a little smile and give a little hug. And but I do have to say that my heartfelt condolences go out to everybody that was affected by this tragedy at Oxford High School. For some of you who don't know, just like Steve, part of our township goes to Oxford, and one of the students lost is a township resident. Oxford is like our community, like Steve said, so we stand Oxford strong with them. We go there to eat, we go there to shop, we go there for different things, like my daughter dances there, so she has many friends who are at that school, being my daughter's a high school student. So this hits home too much, but I have confidence in our first responders that they're going to help our district. That's one reason why I've always been so supportive of making sure that we have an officers at that school, and I trust in our substation. And I do want to say thank you to all of our officers and our fire department, because I know they were all there that day. I actually had just saw Glover right before he got the call, and so I just wanted to say the rest in peace to Hannah and Tate and Justin and Madison, and that my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody involved. And I also wanted to thank Myers for all they did for those parents that day, because I couldn't imagine being one of those parents. And to everything that's going on at the Legacy Center. If you haven't heard what the Legacy Center has been doing for these kids, it is incredible. And my daughter got to see it because she was at dance on Thursday night. But anyways, I just wanted everyone in Oxford and in our own Brandon Township who's been affected that we're here for you and that we support you and that we're Ortonville strong and Oxford strong.
All right, thank you. That brings us to Scott.
Yeah, Rich, Greg, Dave, thank you guys. Fred, good job on the parade. I'll say it again, it was a good job. I've had many people that say they really enjoyed it. Got to go to the mill then afterwards and deal with a whole lot of other volunteers that were working all day. So it's not just the people that show up to go to the parade, but there's a lot of people that volunteer in this town. And that's another thing that makes it really special, in my opinion, is the number of people that volunteer. Dog tags finally arrived a couple days late, but they're here and they're ready to sell. We're also going to carry the 3-year tags this year. That's really for the camera, I guess, more than anything else. Taxes went out last Monday. They arrived in some mailboxes by Tuesday afternoon, and we had some people paying the very first day they were due, Wednesday morning. I almost feel like I need to give out an award for the first person who pays their taxes every year. And since then, we've had almost 300 parcels pay. That's some people are just really eager to give me their money. So me neither. But anyway, Merry Christmas to everybody. That's it for me.
All right, I don't have any township business to report, but I just want to echo everybody's sentiments in regards to the Oxford tragedy. It was a lot for all of us involved, so especially the people in that community, and we are with that community. And other than that, I just want to say Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys all next year. And that's it. So that brings,
That brings me up
oh,
next.
God, I skipped you again. God.
Jeez.
That's okay. Save
You
best
already
for
talked
last.
once,
It's
so I
okay.
already did it.
So, good evening. Thank you all for attending the Charter Township of Brandon board meeting. Thank you, Fred, for the Christmas in the Village parade. It was a wonderful event. My family, my kids, I dressed them up as elves, and we were on the float, and that was a wonderful experience. So thank you, and it was good to see all the turnout. So Oakland County has completed their canvass for the November 2nd, 2021 special election. The canvass was a success. So now we are just waiting for the state to complete their canvass. Again, I would just like to say thank you to everyone who is a part of making Brandon Township elections a success. It wouldn't have been possible without everyone who participated. I do want to report that we did have an employee have an accident while driving the Smart Bus. This was not the first, and the employee was advised that they would be let go. This will be on the agenda in January. This way the employee can request a review hearing if they would like. So I just kind of wanted to put that in my report. And last, my heart goes out to everyone who was affected by the tragedy that took place in Oxford last week. I'm thankful for the quick response from the Oakland County Sheriff's Department and first responders. My prayers are with you all.
Thank you, Rosalind. Sorry for skipping you again.
It's okay.
That brings us to correspondence now, and there is none. So citizens' comments on agenda items only. Fred?
I'd like to advise the township on item J, the Cdbg program. This is a great opportunity to approve a program, new program that would be held down where the old skate park was held for seniors, for middle-aged, and for children to learn the game of pickleball. It's a great opportunity. I've been working with Rosalind on this. And then there's also a chance that if funded, that we could modify or improve the fencing. I know we don't own the park, but we use it 100% for the children of this community. The fencing is gotten to a point down there where it's rusted and dangerous. And I know when I first got hired, I heard some horror stories on that fencing. And that's why we put that blue tubing across, but the kid going out to catch a fly ball fell into the fence and ripped his face wide open. The fence is at a 4-foot level, and it's rusty, and it's leaning. The backstops are in pretty bad shape. If approved, we could also look into a small grant to use CDBG money as the matching money. So I just give my approval. So hopefully that you guys will give that approval as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Fred. Anyone else? Dave?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do I need to identify
You're
myself?
fine.
Okay.
We know who you are.
No, it should
Probably for minutes.
For the record?
For the,
Yeah,
for the
I'm Dave
recording
Wilson,
secretary.
3635 Lakeview, Ortonville. I first want to thank Fred for all the stuff he does, but in particular with the pickleball. I'm here to wholeheartedly support converting the pickleball, or converting the skate park into pickleball courts. I don't know how many folks know much about pickleball, but I, for one, am an avid racket sport player, but in the last few years, pickleball. And pickleball is just a fantastic sport for, as Fred said, youth all the way up through seniors. And so many seniors are playing it. And my personal opinion is the senior community in Ortonville is an underserved community in terms of recreation. And having those pickleball courts, and particularly having them there by the skate park so near the senior center, I think would be a great advantage for those individuals in particular. And again, it's just a great sport. I'm absolutely willing at any time to talk to anybody on the board about pickleball, just as an education if you don't know what the sport is. But it's literally one of the fastest growing sports in the country. I think there's 42 million people that play pickleball now in the United States. 4.2 million, sorry. I just exaggerated it a little bit by a factor of 10, right? But anyways, yeah, but that's still a lot of people. And again, people from all ages, but in particularly the senior community. So again, I wholly support that conversion of the skate park into the pickleball courts, and I'll continue to work with Fred on that regard. So thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay. No discussion tonight. That brings us to the consent agenda. We have the regular meeting minutes of 11/8/2021. Regular bills in the amount of $10,454.50. Prepays in the amount of $485,825.96. Township benefits from payroll, $32,210.54, and trustee timesheets in the amount of $9,954. Can we?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add, I did receive an email from Kathy today pointing out some typos within the minutes. So on page 1, there was a name that had a typo, and it looks like on trustee Thurman spoke on page 3. The motion for that will have to be amended. I'm sorry. That'll be coming up next. So it looks like she wanted me to change the way that her report was read.
It just says they offer education for kids and on gardening. So the and, just the and needs to be taken out. It's very, very minor.
And then when you go to page, looks like page 10 under U for the new business, we're just going to remove, there was 4 candidates that was in the suggested motion. So one of them was put into the minutes that will be removed. So we will be amending these minutes. So I don't know if you want to do the consent agenda as amended.
Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. And because it's paying money, we'll go ahead and roll call that.
Thurman? Yes. Unruh?
Yes.
Blair?
Yes.
Broughton?
Yes.
DePalma?
Yes.
Marshall?
Yes.
Rumble?
Yes. Motion carries. No unfinished business. That brings us into new business. The first thing we have is the Appropriations Act. So this does need to be amended just to include the appraiser wages that were not carried over from the wage scale. So that were approved at the last meeting, so those will be added into section 8 of this item.
And you
Okay.
also made that other change on,
What other change?
Tell you what, Jason,
Oh.
before we do that, why don't we say what they are, so it'll be on
Say
record.
what
that
is.
The appraiser wages, what they'll be.
I don't have it with me.
I do.
Can I ask a question? Why was 2021 on our table with 2022?
Because when I printed it, it didn't have the saved calculation. So the one that I gave you tonight on my way in is not the correct one. You want the 2-page one.
Jason, do you want to read them? I've got it.
Sure.
Wait a second.
I'm really confused.
I'm really confused too because
Okay,
this says
you want the 2022 one. Get rid of the 2021 one.
This was the one that was in my,
That's the one you want.
the one that was in my folder is the one I want.
Yes.
Okay, so we had these on our table just for no,
No, because I made changes, but it printed the wrong one.
okay. But what's in my file is correct. You're
Correct.
just gonna tell us the changes.
Yeah, yep.
Gotcha.
The appraiser
Sorry,
wage
I
is
was
the only
just
thing that needs to be
confused.
added.
Void my void.
Yeah.
The township appraiser 1 will be added. The starting wage is $21.37. The 1-year wage is $22.41. The 2-year wage is $23.45. The township appraiser 2, start wage is $24.55 an hour, and 1-year wage is $25.59, and the 2-year wage is $26.63. So I will add that into the 2022 one that was in your packet. Pass that back down to Kathy.
They're not even in
Thanks,
here
Kathy.
at all, it looks
Yeah,
like.
they haven't been ever, so Kathy pointed it out to me this afternoon, but it's never been in there in the past 6 years.
Okay.
Well, I think we just started that job like 3 or 4 years ago, but
2016, oh, for Brenda's job? you mean?
Yeah. but it's never been in this report before. So, with that amendment, I will make the motion to approve the Charter Township of Brandon General Appropriation Act for fiscal year 2022 as amended.
I'll support.
Jason and Roz, are any questions, other questions?
I just had that other concern, Jason, regarding transferring out the,
That's not on this, that's on the budget thing, and it's in the same place the other funds came into this year. The fund was already created for, so it's the same as 2021, and we can't move it to that until we have the money. We have to cash receipt it and bring it into the fund before we can move it.
right,
Right.
Right.
So it doesn't need to be in the other one right now.
I know, but a budget is just a plan, so it just to show that when it does come in, it's gonna go into the designated.
That we just moved it by budget, it's not necessary. It showed in the revenues where it should be, where the previous amount was also shown, so we will leave it how it is. All right, does anybody else have questions on that? All right, then we'll take a roll call, please.
We don't have a motion.
Oh, sorry, I thought, yes, we do. I made the motion and she supported it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A roll call, please.
Unruh,
Yes.
Oh, to approve
Blair.
as amended.
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes, motion carries. That brings up our police contract. Lieutenant Glover's here if anybody has questions for him. But where's my, there it is. Okay, so Stuart reviewed this and prepared this resolution. Kathy, you did ask about the percentage that it went up. We still don't know at this time. The labor portion of the contract is not done.
Okay.
So currently, it went up about 3%, but it's gonna go up the labor wage whenever we know what that is. So currently 3, but it's going to go up from there. We don't know what that number is still, so.
All right, I was just looking at last year's amount that we spent, and on, I think it's addendum A, Schedule A, just looking at the total amount that it would cost us, and I calculated like closer to 7% difference on
It's
what we're
only-
spending,
it's-
but it is
it's
what it
only
is.
3, yeah. I'm not sure what calculations you used, but, all right, do you have any questions on it other than that?
No, I'll make the motion to approve the 2022 to 2024 Oakland County Police contract.
I'll support it.
All right, we have a motion supported by, or brought by Dana, supported by Rosalind to approve the Oakland County Police contract. We'll go ahead and just roll call that too, please.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, and then we have the cable consultant renewal contract that shows a 2% increase for each year. Greg has been doing this for a long time for us, and he does a great job. And he barely ever spends the money that's in there, so. Do you have anything you would like to say, Greg?
No.
Okay.
I'll
I
make
would,
a,
I would just mention, I coached at Oxford for 9 years, and you cannot believe the response the sheriffs and those guys had and what they do. The youngest, the mere young man, his 2 older brothers played in our program for 6 years. And Jason, I know you coach. It's terribly difficult to be in a school and watch that happen to kids. So we pray for all of them.
Thank you, Greg.
I'll make,
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2022 to 2023 consulting agreement with Mr. Greg Norman for operation of the Ortonville Community Broadcast Station according to the terms of the agreement as presented and upon receipt of the fully executed documents.
I'll
Support.
All right, Roz? Okay. Because we're going to be spending money on that contract, does anybody have questions before we vote? Okay. We'll go ahead and roll call that, please.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, and that brings us to the
Thank you for
OTV.
all you do, Greg.
Yep. That brings us to the Studio Tyson agreement. This is the company that does all the technical support for Greg to do his job, and we're looking to renew it. It's the same company we've been using for 19 years, and again, he didn't raise the price.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to approve the Studio Tyson LLC invoice for $3,600 as presented.
I'll support.
Kathy and Rosalind. Sorry, Dana, I heard her first.
That's okay, Rosalind keeps beating everybody there.
All right, so let's roll call that too, because we're spending money.
DePalma.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Blair.
yes.
Broughton.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes.
Thank you for your support
Greg,
and for the
before
kids.
Thank you, Greg.
Yep.
Since you're here in front of everybody, are you ever hearing any rumblings as people are dropping cable? Our franchise fees, do you have any projections for future years? Are they going to start going down?
Right now, nationally, about 3% of people are converting from cable to what essentially is streaming. The problem is that wiring that was put in 1977, which has a 75-year contract, is never going to be changed. For example, everything you get at home is obviously HD and in some cases 4K. We're still broadcasting in standard definition because they can't change the wiring. To answer your question specifically, it's not going to happen in my lifetime. I'm 67, so hopefully I live a little bit longer, but the point to it is that it was never set up to be anything more than what it is, which is a small-town newspaper. So, yes, I think there's a shrinkage to some extent, but I don't think it's going to be. And then the state changes the formula every year. And a number of years you think you're going to get X amount of dollars, and all of a sudden they change it because there's cost of living and there's other kinds of inflation costs, and it's all over the map.
So it's nothing that we should be
No.
thinking about.
The only thing that I think eventually happens, and I think this is something that happens in 10 years, I think that cable access, they've tried 3 times in the last 20 years to eliminate cable access, and the communities come back and go, we don't have any place to see Little League games. We don't have any place to see board meetings. And if all of a sudden you have to do it, nobody's going to, in the community, if you didn't have us, you still have to have a camera someplace to be able to run those events and see those things. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to go to streaming. We're going to try to do some of this stuff in this next year to try to go live to provide a better product. But I don't see it changing because it's so ingrained in a small towns, and I think it's become a vital. And it's not tax dollars. That's the biggest thing. Being at franchise fees, you get a little more opportunity to, I think, to supply with the community. We have got 6, 7 kids working, and they get a chance to do something that's real, rather than, if they're having to pack groceries. Nothing wrong with packing groceries, but you have that opportunity. So I don't see it going away. At least that's based on everything I know.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to the snow plowing contracts. Stuart did draft these and review this, and he drafted the resolution, and he put them both on the same one. This is the contracts for the township offices and the senior center for snow plowing. And we went ahead and asked Chestnut Outdoor Services to do a 3-year contract, so we don't have to do this every year. So and the fees are all in there, in the contracts attached that are approved by Stuart.
You were good with the rates, Jason, because I didn't compare
Yes.
them. Did
It
how much
went up
did
like $5.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that here, okay.
Well, that's not much considering the price of gas change and
Right.
the
Okay.
supplies and all that. I'm sure salt's gonna go up or whatever else.
Well, and
so-
that pellet out that we use is more expensive than regular salt too, so we don't.
Yeah, yes, because
Yeah.
we made sure of that, so we don't beat the bricks up at the bottom
Yep.
of the, okay, good.
All right, does anybody want to make the motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Bob. Any support?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. All right, because we'll be approving a contract and spending money, we'll go ahead and roll call that.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Broughton.
Yes.
DePalma.
Yes,
Rumble.
Yes. All right, and that brings us to our yearly opt-out of Public Act 152 of 2011. That's,
I'll make the motion as
Okay.
presented.
thank you, Kathy.
I'll support.
Thank you, Dana. And there's no money being spent there, so can we just do, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 7-0. All right, Rosalind, you are up.
Okay, so it looks like on December 7th of 2020, the Board of Trustees approved the Charter Township of Brandon General Appropriations Act. For fiscal year 2021. Per Section 9, each department may make transfers among various line items contained in the cost center appropriation. However, no transfers of appropriation for line item related to personnel or capital outlay may be made without prior board approval by budget amendment. So in front of you, you will see the budget amendments I have. I have an amendment for elections and for clerk's department for wages, and also for wages for the smart bus.
I have a question. Rosalind, on your suggested motion, it says special election village from 8,500 to 7,500, and then it says wages part-time. Should that be workers' wages? Because the amount is up from that line, and I'm not sure, are you considering those election workers
That should not
part-time?
say wages part-time. That should read election worker wages.
Okay. So the motion will be amended to that.
Does anyone have any questions?
Nope. Then with that amendment, I will make the motion as amended.
Second.
All right, because we're moving money, I'll just go ahead and roll call that.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Motion carries. That brings us to the payroll processing company.
Okay. So in 2020, our payroll company, Paychex, began making software changes from a desktop version to a more web-based program, which was known as Paychex Flex. Ever since we have changed over, we have had several problems with getting the correct reports that we need. Also, during the pandemic, the company has made changes to the customer service. Now people are working from home, and their Paychex doesn't have a main office. We feel that this has hurt their service and makes it sometimes difficult for us to get to a representative when we need to speak to one. In the fall of 2021, our Human Resources Coordinator, Lisa, spoke with our Township Auditor, Ken Polka, about the idea of changing payroll companies. Ken immediately suggested a local Michigan company called Envision Payroll. As someone that he and his staff had worked with over the years, we have had a representative from Envision, which is Greg, in to show us the program and to talk to us about the cost and services. Between the clerk and human resources, we would like to make the recommendation to changing payroll processing companies is the first of the year, so in 2022.
I just have a question, since
Sure.
we just passed the budget. Is there a big, I know he gave us his pricing, but I
Sure.
happen to not have what our
It's way
Paychex
cheaper.
pricing is.
It is.
Okay.
It's way
So I pulled an
Sure
invoice.
enough was budgeted.
I did pull an invoice. We're gonna save a lot of money, because what was budgeted now, we were being charged over $1,000 for our payroll.
Oh, wow.
And when we went to, and I started pulling out invoices to kind of compare them, there was no rhyme or reason. There was like consistently changing. And so, like I said, for a month, it's over $1,000. And after I've talked to Greg, we're looking at under $300 a month.
Okay. Okay, that answer, I just want to make sure we had enough in the budget.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like this is the direction that the clerk's office wants to go in, and the treasurer's office would be happy with it too. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Envision Payroll and changing over the payroll processing as of January 1st, 2022, and have the clerk sign the contract.
I'll support.
Who won that?
Steve wants it. Steve's flexing on you over there, Dana.
I got some muscle.
Right.
No, Bob will protect me.
All right. Because we're as contractor, we're going to spend money. We'll do a roll call on this one.
Blair,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. Motion carries. That brings us into our prepays.
Okay, so every year around this time, the clerk's office asks that we approve paying all remaining 2021 invoices as prepays until the end of the year is complete in the financial system. in order to expedite the year-end closing. I did reach out to Ken just to make sure this is something we should be doing, and he said that this is something we should be doing. So I'm just so new that I'm learning a lot. So I just wanted to kind of touch all the bases. And so this is something he recommends that we do
Yep. And it's been standard practice for
for a long
while.
time.
So, all right, I'll make the suggested motion.
Second.
Thanks. I was like, wow, nobody
Oh,
wants
wait,
to
well, I
second.
thought he was gonna read it out.
Oh, sorry. All right, so we have a motion to approve all the 2021 invoices effective immediately to be processed as prepays by the bookkeeper. And then we will go ahead and just roll call that too. Why
Rowden.
not?
Yes.
DePalma.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Rumble.
Yes. All right, that brings us to the CDBG program year 2022.
Okay, so again, just doing regular maintenance. Every year we submit for a community development block grant. So right now I'm getting ready to apply for the program year 2022. And this resolution has my recommendations where I would like to see that money spent. One of them is for public services, so our youth services. I would like to see money go to the youth services. And
Will that be BGYA? Yes. Okay.
so I think how it's just wrote, I think they rather say
Okay.
youth services instead of,
Keep it
But-
general.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
So-
we have to just say what the project is, not for who's getting it yet, from what I understand.
Okay.
Correct. And then I'm also, so we're giving money to services for victims of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking. And then we have public facilities and improvements. I know, working under the former clerk, one of the things that she pointed out is that our municipality does not have a AED. So I'm putting in a grant to get the AED here for the seniors, or I got one for the senior center, but I'm looking now to get one for this municipality. And then for Parks and Recreation, which Fred spoke on for the pickleball, and then to replace the fencing.
Okay.
Rosalind, I know you have to follow a lot of regulations for this. And I'm glad to see that we're able to spend money on Parks and Recreation, but is that something new? Because it seemed like in the past, we weren't allowed to use
So I
the funds
actually
for that.
had a phone call with some people at Oakland County, and a lot of, so our funds say they're not able to use it, but because it's been past practice, we have.
You have
So they're
used it.
going to allow us to use it.
Great, great.
$10,000 were given to the skate park, and then there was another $10,000
Right.
for the septic field.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Back in the day.
All right, before we vote on this, I do need to abstain from this because I am a board member on BGYA, so I probably shouldn't vote on this. So I would like to make a motion to abstain from voting.
Support.
Thank you.
Okay, so motion.
And I know in the past, Candy and I voted and we had to do it again and bring it back to another board meeting, so.
I'm gonna have to do it then too, Jason.
You're not a board member,
I
though,
am.
You are now?
Oh, always have been.
Oh, I thought you were just a
Ever since,
volunteer on
after
there.
first year now.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, then I'll change my motion for Scott and myself to both abstain.
Now I will support the amended motion.
Okay. Jason and Bob.
Bob, you supported, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we need to vote on that first. Let's just do a roll call on that. Please.
DePalma.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes.
Unruh.
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
You guys.
We get to vote on that, we just can't vote on the
Yes.
other one.
Rowden. Okay,
Yes.
Rowden and Rumble.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, we can't bring the next motion, but can.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution approving program year 2022 Community Development Block Grant application as presented.
I'll support.
I think Dana got you that time,
Started
Steve.
before.
She was long.
Roll the tape. Roll the tape.
I heard her talking first.
It was you.
The That's because she's in your ear.
Roll the tape.
But it's whatever Jason
So,
says.
who supported this?
Dana. I heard Dana first.
Me.
All right, so we have the motion, and please roll call that minus Scott and myself.
DePalma,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Unruh,
Yes.
Blair.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, that brings us to citizens' comments on anything. Greg?
Couple of things. One is, in light of what's taken place on Tuesday, and in light of the bond that was pushed through the high school, I think it's time to consider, and I brought this up to the school board, for the school board to pay for the SRO position at the high school and push for that to be a 5-day-a-week job. We're busier and busier there. With the bond that was passed, I think they should pick up the bill for that instead of splitting it with them. And I think we need to push for it to be a 5-day-a-week event instead of a 50-50 split. I think it's time for that to start consideration for that. And then the other thing is I've been in talks since Tuesday with our own administrators at the school as far as shoring up a couple security things. Our school system in the last 5 years has really come a long ways with making us aware of things that we believe are law enforcement issues. At one time when I first come out here, a lot of things were swept under the rug. There were a lot of things they didn't want to bring to us. That's really changed in the last 4 or 5 years. The major mistake that Oxford made is a mistake that our schools have not been making. When somebody's a threat, they contact us. There's direct contact with that student as far as with law enforcement. It's not a decision that counselors are making on whether they go through somebody's backpack or whatnot. And that issue, if they would have brought it to law enforcement, in my opinion, we wouldn't be talking about Tuesday. And there's a lot of parents, a lot of people in this community that are coming forward, wanting the school system to be a little bit more transparent and have more communication with them. When we make an arrest on a student that's made any type of a threat for that matter. So we're moving in the right direction. There are some things that we are going to tighten up even a little bit more than what we have. And then lastly, I want to comment on myself, Sergeant Hubble, Detective Buell, Deputy McDonald, and Deputy Osborne were among some of the first responders to enter into that 200-block hallway where the shooter was at. And I can't be more proud of those guys going into a battle situation like that. We train constantly for it, but you can do all the training in the world until it's real. And when that call come out over the radio, it's a call you're not expecting. And I want to comment about the Brandon Fire Department because I passed three Brandon firemen in that hallway at least 2 or 3 different times, way before I ever ran into any firemen or paramedics from any other fire department. And that says a lot about those guys in my mind. We've talked about it quite a bit since Tuesday because there were a lot of firemen that didn't enter that building and the way that we've been trained to. And the response from those guys with us was very supportive for us in the way that we've trained. And I can't say enough about those guys and what they did. I saw Steve at Myers after I was done as clearing that school. I was rerouted to Myers to get a handle on what was going on there, which was just chaos. Parents responding, a lot of students, faculty there. And once we got a grip on it, even though we had one, it wasn't like the chaos was still over. I was approached I had 3 families brought to me that at the time, they couldn't reach their children. And it turned out all 3 of those families that I had were victims that we had contact with in that hallway that were deceased. And I got the unlucky task of doing those notifications. And I've done hundreds of notifications in my career, but nothing to the magnitude of that. And I can just say, for the people in Oxford, our community, I'm the department liaison for Hannah St. Juliana, who's a township resident, and like you guys have said, our district is really cut into with Oxford, so there's a lot of intermingling with as far as students and things like that. And I can't be prouder of our community and the response to Oxford. I wanted to make that a point. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Dave?
To echo Greg's comments, what we were able to accomplish as a whole as first responders for both police, fire, EMS agencies is light years from what we used to do, which was sit back and wait until the proper, I wouldn't say proper, but until SWAT teams could get in place. We don't do that anymore, and it's huge. That's how we save people. And I can't say anything, I'm trying to find the right words, but the Sheriff's Department acted quickly, swiftly, and precisionally to make sure that nothing else happened and allowed us first responders to get in there and do what we could do, even though the outcome wasn't what we wanted it to be.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, it absolutely
Could have been worse, guys. You guys did good.
Thanks, Dave. Fred?
Back to my report real quick. I wanted to give credit to, they're under Dave Quapas's, Chief Quapas's direction with his CERT team. Once again, they proved that they are very reliable, responsible team. Now, I wasn't scheduled to be here tonight because I'm a basketball official and I deal with all the Metro League schools and the Saginaw Valley schools. And I got a phone call this morning that there was a threat of a shooting at Bendel High School. And I hope some of this stops, but all of it stops. But when the Oxford took place, and I heard it on the news, first thing that came to my mind was Lieutenant Glover. For some reason, I knew he would probably be one of the first guys over there, and come to find out he was. And I also thought about our fire department, and it turns out we are very well protected. We're very fortunate to have these men and women work for us. And then I heard about the young football player that was hauled off to the hospital. Once again, first guy I thought about that's handling that was Lieutenant Glover, and I turned out to be right. So I can't tell enough he's left. Can't say enough about that guy and our first responders.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you.
Yep, Faye?
One thing.
Okay.
Don't forget, this Saturday at the senior center, 4 o'clock is hors d'oeuvres, 5 o'clock is dinner, 6:30, 7 o'clock is Bob Marshall Band. It's our annual Christmas dinner.
Hey, Bob.
And we are making out food the same as we did at Thanksgiving. Well, it's different food, but we're bringing you leftovers. Saturday night, bring your mom.
All right, thanks, Faye.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to board comments. Kathy, you got anything else to add?
Okay. I just wanted to let our deputies and our fire department employees just know how much they're appreciated. You guys are just awesome, top notch. So very much appreciated. And then I also wanted to say that I think the holiday policy amendment is supposed to be the holiday policy is supposed to be amended. So just a reminder to bring that to the board for approval. And as far as policy amendments,
We already approved that when we supported it. I already changed it in it.
Are you talking about Juneteenth? Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? It is.
'Cause
It's
I-
in
Already
there.
changed and approved. We voted to approve that calendar.
well, I know you said you were gonna.
It was
We approved
change
it.
the policy, but
did.
doesn't the policy have to come to the board for
But we
approval?
approved the change, so I just made the change.
I don't remember it happening that way, but that's okay. Okay, well, good. The policies, once they're amended, they get passed out to everyone, and I'm not sure whose office is taking care of that, but I haven't been getting any changes. And even last year, I didn't get anything, so it used to be the clerk's office that made the changes and then passed it out to all the employees and trustees and everybody. So maybe the two of you can follow up on that. And I wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Steve?
Let's just get 2021 over with and get moving, and everybody start new with a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And Fred, didn't make your parade, but thank you for putting it on. I'm sorry I didn't say it, or going through my head. Thank you. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob?
I know we frequently praise our first responders, in particular the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department. This would probably be an appropriate time of year to show them exactly how much we appreciate them. They don't get paid for what they do, they get paid for what they're willing to do. And last Tuesday, they showed exactly what they were willing to do. And I'm sure that the Fire Department would be more than happy to accept trays of cookies, cakes, pies. I'm sure the Sheriff Department would too. So this is an ideal time to provide some sort of physical form of appreciation to them in the form of treats and just anything you can give to the Sheriff Department and the Fire Department. Thanks, Chief, and Greg's already left. Thank you, Lieutenant Glover.
And Bob, we get a lot. All right.
Dana?
I just wanted to say again, thank you to the first responders, like they've all said, and to Lieutenant Glover, Sergeant Hubble, and Chief Quapis, and all their staff, that you guys do an awesome job, and we greatly appreciate it. And again, to all our friends and the residents in Oxford, our thoughts and prayers are with you guys, and we're there for you. And so at the end, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and let's hope we can have a great Happy New Year and see you next year.
All right, thank you. Rosalind, you got anything else?
I just want to, I said our last meeting that I'm very thankful for our Sheriff's Department and the Brandon Fire Department, our community. They do a lot for our community, and I just can't thank them enough. I do hope that everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you in January.
Thank you, Scott.
That's it for me.
I don't have anything else to add either. All right, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
Thank you, Bob and Dana. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.